And we're live.
And we're live. Hi, everybody.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, January 10th. I cannot believe we are 10 days into the new year already.
I know it's already. And boy, what a year it's been
I saw
already.
somebody shared a social media thing that it says it feels like it's been 45 years since Christmas or something like that. I'm like, what is going on? We all feel it.
It absolutely, yes, it's crazy. And for those of you, Karen and I were just talking of I'm in Kentucky and we're getting this big winter storm. We're going to get about 6 inches of snow. It looks like we are, but anybody who's in the path of that, hopefully it's not problematic. And it's just a nice, you get to go play in the snow.
Yeah, I hope that is for the weekend. I do think now that we're talking about weather, I do think we should say some of our listeners might be in California, might be in the California area that's being affected by these fires. And I've seen already a few LinkedIn posts of people that I know that have lost homes.
Yes.
I think that I think that if there's things that others can do, my understanding is that a lot of these folks also do not have insurance to cover fire damage, and it's a rough road for many of our colleagues too. So
it is. It's been, boy, that's a whole other topic, but it's been a series of natural disasters for the last few months. Hurricanes, floods, and fires. Yes. So prayers, good feelings, good thoughts, and if we can help in any other way, let us know. But
and if you want to share with us links of places to recommend that people go to help, we will share those out too, so that it be a little more actionable for people. I think would be my wishes.
Yes.
I mean, I've seen some GoFundMes. I know that I actually went to college with a man who is now a lawyer in the area, and he is starting up a legal, pro bono legal counsel for people who are looking to file insurance claims too. So let us know if you have resources. The exchange at greenbook.org is a good place to send all of that stuff to. Maybe we can compile stuff to be of help.
Yes. Good call. Yeah. What we want to dive into the maybe slightly more fun topics than.
Well, I just think it's timely, right? So somebody had said, there was somebody in LinkedIn, and I don't remember who it was, so forgive me if you're listening. Why do we really care about the CES, like the Consumer Electronics Show? Like, why do we all care so much about this? And I'm like, seriously? Like, that's not obvious to everyone why we care. So I figured it's a good place for you and I to start, because we seriously care.
Yes.
Let's just connect that dot for anyone who's listening. Why do we pay attention to this show? Because it's not just about innovation, but it's about consumer behavior and trends. And what else you got, Lenny? Let's add
to the technologies that they utilize to engage with the world around them, and with researchers, and with advertising and marketing, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, that connected universe. I mean, I'll give you an example. I was just on a call. A large CPG company is doing a connected home panel and utilizing technology, smart home technology, to monitor usage of products that are connected to home use tests. Right.
Yeah.
Now, that inspiration came from technologies developed and put forward at CES. There's one example, right? That's pragmatic. So the type of tools that we're going to be using tomorrow are being presented there today.
Yeah, and let's talk about these Samsung refrigerators, because they're partnering Samsung, and I had done, one of the reasons why that always jumps out at me is I actually have done some qualitative for Samsung on some of their smart refrigerators in my qualitative life. So I always pay attention to what they're doing, but they're partnering with Instacart for their smart fridges that are starting to incorporate agents where it can recognize, hey, you're out of milk. Let's get that ordered for you, or at least get it on your Instacart list. Now, here's where I started to go with this. In my head, I'm thinking, okay, I'm out of butter, right? Now my smart refrigerator can say you're out of butter. But what if I was like, you know what? I don't want to get Land O'Lakes this year. I really want to stay with my Kerrygold or this time. I want to stay with my Kerrygold.
I use Kerrygold too. It's good butter.
It's really good butter.
So the cheese is awesome. Go ahead.
Okay. So imagine, right? Like I want to make sure this time it's the holidays. I want to make sure everybody has good butter, right? Or better butter than, Land O'Lakes. You know what I'm saying? Is my refrigerator going to make that decision for me? Are they going to switch brands for me? Are they going to ask? Or is it going to start to be the purchase decision maker for my household?
Absolutely. And what about discounts or promotions? Does that affect that at all? Will it be looking for the best deal?
Right. Is that
Or,
important to me? Am I the kind of person that, I certainly spent some time with my in-laws over the Christmas holiday. They do not shop deals. That is not something that's important to them. They buy what they want when they want
many
it.
do. Many use coupons. Many people still
Will
utilize coupons.
my refrigerator know that I maybe want to shop whatever's on sale versus somebody who doesn't? Like, how do we train our refrigerators? Will we be training them?
Absolutely. Yes. And those are, so to your original point, CES is important. Not everything flies out of that, but a lot does. And these types of technology, specifically the connected home combined with the agentic model.
Yeah.
If we are not paying attention to that as researchers who support marketers, then we are not doing our job effectively, because the disruption to how marketing and the path to purchase and the sales process, it is incredibly disruptive, and it is evolving rapidly. And that's where we see what that's going to look like in the near future. 36 months, let's call it. Right.
I think you found this article, Marketing to Bots in the Agentic Era. And I think that is a very good, it's a keynote from CES about this shift, right? Because to the points we were just making earlier, we the marketers, the brand side individuals who are making these types of decisions and thinking, if I am on a brand marketing team and I'm thinking about advertising planning and I'm thinking about communication planning, I need to be thinking about how is my brand going to be top of mind for some of these AI agents?
Absolutely.
Because that is a very complicated piece of the puzzle that is coming at us.
Absolutely. And I'll give, it's for researchers, right? So I know those conversations, they're thinking about this. What happens when procurement departments are functioning or using agents to identify suppliers? And what happens when that agent is then handling the entire contracting process? What happens when you as a supplier are utilizing an agent to engage with their agent for the processing process? That may sound like a dystopian hellscape. Well, we haven't used that word in a while.
It's been a week.
But I'll tell you, it's coming because it's efficient. Now, is that going to be for everything? No. But for contracting a tracker or an ad test, or something that's, fairly standard, not customized, overall, that's coming.
Right.
So there's another dimension of that.
Yeah. And I mean, let's also talk about this other debut at CES, which is,
the smart glasses.
This perennial topic that keeps coming up. So of these Halliday smart glasses, they look like what you and I are wearing on our faces right now. I mean, I saw these glasses and I was like, hold up, because that is not obtrusive. That does not look like tech wear. Those just look like glasses. And they are so smooth and so clear. And again, I don't know that people want this. I don't know that I don't know. I haven't done the research, and I would have loved to have been at CES to kind of see some of this, because we've talked about these other brands before that are playing this game. But now if we have kind of this other type of smart glass where, I might be in a conversation with you and be getting a message that I can see that you don't know I'm even getting. It's so futuristic and it's here.
It is here.
I'm thinking about, I remember as a moderator, interviewer, somebody sitting in the focus group room working with a really good colleague of mine who's still at Insights now. Her name is Amy Mahoney. And she was like one all about her Apple Watch, and she was fine getting texts from the back room on her Apple Watch as she was moderating. She preferred that over a note coming through the door, which is, for those of you who don't know, that's how they used to communicate with us, right? It's like, knock on the door, bring you a note, and then kind of micromanage how you were moderating. Anyway, that's fine. So Amy was like, I have no problem getting those messages on my smartphone. On my smartwatch. And I remember thinking, the problem for me in that is that my family texts a lot, and I'd be looking at it, be like, ask them this, separated to, do we have milk, separated to, can't find the ketchup, and so I'm like, I can't be doing that. So I couldn't wear a smartwatch in that room, where she was able to manage that pretty easily.
But imagine an agent.
I know, yes. I know,
yes.
right? An agent
to
saying,
sort it.
sort this. The messages from kids don't come in here. The messages from the back room do. But imagine it's just coming into your glasses. Nobody even knows. You don't even have to look at your wrist. I mean, the research applications for smart glasses just get bigger and bigger each time.
Absolutely.
I
And the
kudos to
recording
the brains who are
capabilities.
trying it out, right?
Yes. And the fun part, I mean, that's augmented reality, right? Now I will say, shout out to Halliday, whoever. So the reason that I bought Google Glass, right? But I am blind as a bat. My lenses are incredibly thick on my glasses, right? They just are. So and contacts do not work for me. So there was a real barrier was there was not a glasses that I could have corrective lenses in,
right,
and have the Google Glass. So if you do this, Halliday, make sure that you're selling the frame. It's the frame. Sell it at Lens Crafters or VisionWorks or wherever. So that's your retail channel, and accommodate corrective lenses that go into it. So
yeah, it's really cool stuff. So again, like I think oh, do you see what Charlie Rader's saying? Is his doctor used Google Glass? That's so cool to think about. So imagine you're a young doctor coming into the exam room and you're talking to a patient and you have your kind of doctor mentor, you know,
and you have the record right there, and
there, right? It's like, remember.
I mean, the use cases are obvious. It's just got to perfect the form factor,
and they're close to that. I mean, these glasses look pretty darn nice. So,
there's the Meta Ray-Bans.
I know. Right? Well, the Ray-Bans also, I don't know. They felt, I don't know. These felt like glasses. These felt like, what you and I might be wearing every minute of our lives. Even the Ray-Bans felt a little bit more like sunglasses, out there in the world, but these were all of a sudden like, pretty damn cool. Yes. Notes. Right. So imagine, Charlie, thank you. I could geek out about this. I'm thinking about, kind of with my moderator hat on. Imagine I'm doing like an ethnography and I have my guide kind of in my classes, and I can literally just be present in the moment, and I can still refer to my notes if I needed to.
Yes. Well, and obviously the recording capability, or think about the ethnographies in store, shopping. Yeah. I mean, all this eye tracking, all those things, and
all of it. Anyway,
we're there. None of that's science fiction. It's just packaging it right. That's all it is now. Is just
I really want a researcher to tell us that. Yes, okay, fine. We bought these holiday smart glasses and we're trying it. Please do that.
I'm not going to do that after buying. I did. I was a glass hole along with Tim, right? Tom Anderson, right? I think Tim, Tom, and I we were the glass holes, right? And then we're not going to do that anymore.
Anyway, no, and I mean those were thousands of dollars, but these for this price,
like
I just want some researcher out there to give it a go and report back in. Maybe I'll
do that, and we'll have you on the exchange. So if you do that, you acquire these glasses, you do some use case. The exchange something podcast IAX, we'll get you on stage. Absolutely.
Oh gosh, maybe I can get a pair for IAX so that when I'm like walking around, the problem is also my prescription, right? I use reading glasses, so I don't use glasses so I'd be like.
Oh, see, my kids already make fun of me because I'm supposed to have bifocals and I don't, and I have to look over my glasses to read anything, and then So we got to deal with the prescription point. All right, so that's why CS is important. Plus, there's just
full circle.
Yes, there's just cool. It's also cool and kind of geeky, but those things have real impact. Every product we use today started at CS.
Call to action for people to experiment with some of this great technology. Think about what's out there and think about what it means for you and think about what it means for our industry. Good stuff. Okay, let's get into some other industry specific stuff, because I know you know a lot about the MRII. It's Market Research International Institute
International. Yeah. It's kind of loosely connected to the UGA program. Loosely, I'm not sure of the. Anyway,
well, I think they're kind of an educational.
And they do a lot of good work. And they just had some 6 new board members, some folks that we all know and love. Lots of great industry stalwarts. I'm not looking at the list, but Jim Whaley, for instance, I know is the incoming president from Ovation MR, and just good folks. And they do a lot of good work. Encourage you to check them out. They put all their content on YouTube. By the way, they actually have a very robust YouTube channel. Check them out and check us out while you're on YouTube, because we have a robust one too.
Just like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, right? So click that notification bell. So hats off to that. Pay attention. They don't get as much attention as they should with the kind of associations, in my opinion. And I think the MRI is definitely a group that people should pay attention to.
Yeah, because from what I understand, they really are just mission driven to help people learn, right? And get your skills up to snuff and stay in the know, which sort of aligns with what we do, right? That's sort of our personal missions as well, right? Is keep people informed. So
absolutely. Absolutely. Some M&A work. Radius Global acquired Illuminos. I know the Illuminos team really well. So hats off to them. They do great work in tech B2B, right? Which is really what Illuminos did. So it's interesting for Radius Global, which I didn't think of as a B2B business. Now making that play. Chiplister drives Radius, private equity backed, continuing to acquire kind of portfolio companies that expand their capabilities and focus areas. That's been just a fine strategy.
Cool.
Stagwell keeps on buying stuff up.
All right, I was going to say, not the first time we've heard from them this year.
Nope. So Mark Penn, his company, Stagwell, public company. They bought Unicepta, which is a media platform. So that's interesting. They're connecting kind of the media intelligence components, because they're effectively a full stack marketing services company with research embedded, right? They still have the Harris poll, right? That's still part of that. They bought MRII. So it's really as an integrated company, vertically integrated around marketing effectiveness, with research and all these additional components. So keep watching Stagwell.
Well, what's cool also, just pointing out, because you and I talk about this a lot, but I'm like, that's just like 2 acquisitions announced this week alone. So anticipating some more of what we've been talking about, right? Like the whole idea that there are some acquisitions happening, there are mergers happening, there are partnerships happening, and that is not going to cease.
And there's a lot of money flowing, right? For whatever reason, right? There's a lot of investor optimism right now, and a lot of money looking for homes. So deal volume is going to increase.
Yeah. Cool. Lenny, I don't know if you see, but James Whaley's listening, so he just gave us, kind of a live.
Oh, hey James, congratulations, buddy.
It's great that you're listening. It's great that you heard us live. It feels very authentic when that happens. So we appreciate you being there.
Yes. Thank you, Jim. All right,
stuff.
you want to talk about Belendi, which has been on a bit of a tear as well with they've made some acquisitions recently.
So launching this U.S. panel, expanding its global presence. I guess they didn't have a U.S. panel before. They had a European panel. So, good stuff. And also thanks to that team for sending it to the exchange, greenbook.org, because that's how this one came my way. So anyway, just remember that that's a thing that gets it in front of us no matter what. Doesn't rely on Lenny and I to just do what we're always doing, which is like always curating, right? So anyway, good stuff. Pretty interesting. I love expanding global presence. It just makes me feel that level of, oh, that's impressive when people do that, because it is not an easy feat.
Yeah. Well, there's an interesting angle here, right? The maintaining its rigorous European quality standards. Now, that may sound like marketing speak, like, really? But you know what?
Right? Yeah.
It's legitimate because of GDPR.
Yeah.
Right. And the focus on that model, it forced European panels were forced to do things a little bit differently because of GDPR. So for a European company to take that thinking, and that infrastructure, that organizational component in the model, and bring it to the US, I would argue that they will have higher quality.
What's cool about that is, to that point, I'm glad you called it out, because I'm so used to, in my experience, US companies trying to get over there and realizing how hard and challenging that is to adhere to those standards that are in place, right? So it's a great
different
approach
model.
to flip that model and say, yeah, we've already got that nailed. Let's bring it here. So
Yeah.
interesting.
Yes. I could go off on a soapbox on that. I won't out of time.
Yeah.
We're going to keep it under 30 minutes this week.
We sure are. Where are we at? 20? We're at 20. All right. Well, we're okay. Yeah, I think we are. Which is good because we'll go off the rails at some point. But
I was about to. I brought myself. I brought myself back in, not to go off the rails.
Excellent.
So,
all right, but let's talk about this quality attention optimization tool that IAS has unveiled. It's in beta. Do you know anything about this? I was not able to check this one out. What did you see?
So didn't check it out in depth. What is interesting is this focus on attention quality. Now that's a really interesting metric, and I think if you step out and think about, it used to be we just said you were exposed to an ad. That was it.
Yep.
Then it was okay. Well, you're exposed to an ad for this amount of time. Then it was you were exposed to an ad and you clicked through, right? Yeah. But now we're getting to, this is not the only approach, to try and understand level of engagement and length of time of exposure. Yeah. And that's really the attention economy. That's it's been called, is a new way to think about advertising. And think about your own, I don't know about you, but me, if I'm scrolling through my social feed, I still get caught. Like, oh, what's that? And I look at it and I pay attention to it for a few seconds, and and I actually get mad at myself. It's like, oh, they got me again. That's not what I was trying to do. I was trying to look at the ad, but so that optimization of crafting content, right? Often visual media to capture attention. That's the currency of the realm at this point. And here's an example of companies that are trying to measure exactly what that is.
Yeah. So it would be an interesting study. I'm always thinking about what would be interesting work to have done when I was a researcher. Or when I was an active qualitative researcher, I should do that caveat. You use the Waze app for like driving places.
Yes.
And then every now and then you get a, hey, did you see this business lately? I only answer if it's like a Dunkin' Donuts or a Starbucks. Like if it's
because that's all I'm paying attention to. I don't see anything else.
Yes, I did see that Starbucks.
In fact, I stopped at every one that I saw. Well, that's Buc-ee's. If they did for Buc-ee's, we would do that.
That's right. I'm up here. We don't have that. But yeah, I'm always like, I will answer if my Waze is going to then, highlight those things for me, because I love nothing more than like if I'm looking at the map and there's like, a logo and it's one of those places that I'm like, yes, there's my next coffee fix. Thank you very much. So anyway, but yes, even that, most of the time I don't pay attention to ads in that kind of an app. Right. But if it's something that I want to be, a part of my experience, then I will do that. So,
and there's lots of different, we should just point out that we use this as an example, at least from my perspective. I would say this idea of the attention economy, there's lots of suppliers with different methodologies and approaches to do that, including eye tracking, facial coding, all those things. I think it depends upon the context. To your point, if I'm looking at Waze, right, you're probably not going to capture my facial expression or track my eyes. So that's there's different metrics.
Yeah.
They have to be contextually relevant to the form factor of the advertising and the circumstances around that. So it's not going to be
a complicated time to be in advertising, right? You think about even when, if you're streaming, for example, and you're trying to go ad free, that's one thing. But then if you've ever like watched something and you have to stop what you're watching, and it's probably like YouTube TV or something like that, where it's like, no, you have to stop and watch this ad. Right. And it's like, now I have to stop and watch the ad, but I'm literally trying to fast forward. So I am engaged in that particular ad because you just forced me to stop. Even though I don't like it, I'm still watching it.
Right.
So here, interesting.
Yes. Let's go back. So ultimately, go back to the smart glasses, right? Because let's say we're listening to podcasts. Right, there's advertising on podcasts. How the hell do you measure attention when it's solely audio?
Right.
The way you do that is biometrics. The way you will measure biometrics is via wearables, whether it is your your smartwatch or glasses or ring. That's why, go back to CS, why it's important, because we see those devices being developed, and the research application is the ability to measure biometrics so that we can get to a point of understanding our attention, different signals about our environment. And the one pragmatic application is measuring that for driving, for awareness.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's a whole, that's,
but it's the same idea. It's a different use case of the same technology. Well, Affectiva, started as a research company, but they made all their money integrating with vehicles using those same measures for a different use case.
Right.
But they're all getting to the same thing.
So
Yes.
I have a
governance issues, Charlie. Yeah.
Dystopian
hellscape, right? I mean, there's a lot of that elements there, but
say I have my consumer hat on and I'm sitting in my living room, and not Nielsen, but some other research company has now paid me to wear these glasses while I watch TV each evening. And so I'm wearing these glasses while I'm watching TV each evening. And which commercials am I watching versus when am I turning into my smartphone to do a couple of videos on TikTok during the commercial, because I'd rather watch TikTok than my commercial. I mean, that is a very interesting use case of those glasses, talking about attention, like pulling it all together here. This is what our brains do, right? But that would be cool. Like, I would love to know, when are consumers staring at the TV versus looking down? And I would imagine that many consumers aren't even watching the show that they think that they've put on to watch. They're looking down at their phones.
And now let's connect the dots back to the Belendi argument around GDPR, because the problem is, and Charlie, I think you're pointing this out, we have to get to the point where where we are not just doing this because we assume that it's okay and the consumer is okay with it. We must get to the point where any of those technologies, the consumer is expressly opted in, and they are getting value for that. Their attention it equals their time. Time equals money. And so here's quick soapbox, guys. This is the year. This has to be the year as the industry that we just accept that time is money. Data is part of that, and we have to compensate people fairly and engage with them. And the more we do that, the better off we will be, and it will address our quality issues. Yes, thank you, Charlie.
So they consent in this fictional world that I just created. They have consented to wearing the glasses from 7 to 9 after their dinner. They consented to wearing their glasses, or whatever, maybe during their dinner. What do I know? 7 to 9 p.m. They've consented, and they're getting some sort of fair compensation for what 2 hours of their time is like in these classes.
Right. And that fair compensation, it doesn't have to always be money. It could be, oh, you know what, I want free access to this technology that enhances my life in some other way. Right. There's fair value exchange.
Hey, for $350, send them the glasses. Give them a pair of glasses. That's
right.
$50 value. It has one use case on it, but they can maybe use it for other things. Anyway.
All right, we got 2 minutes. We promised
2 minutes. Oh my goodness. So one more product launch, right? This Sincero AI.
Did you look at it?
I did. It was just the platform, and then I didn't really dig deep. But I'm like, all right, it's pretty cool to get user feedback pretty quickly. I wouldn't mind trying it out. I just didn't yet.
Yep. More AI-ification of the research process, creating efficiencies. I did like this one. It's it's anonymous user feedback. But all AI driven. When we were putting this together, there were like 10 examples of this, guys. You're not getting you're getting a very condensed, and we're just picking out examples this week, especially. By the way, we had probably 50 different articles that we were looking at. There was
always we have a lot that we're looking at, but yeah, there's something about feedback for anybody whose product is web-based in particular. Like, there's no reason why you shouldn't be getting some feedback. Yes. AI or human on your site today. There's a million platforms where you can, get that feedback from individuals. So
let's wrap it with this ads. That's about ads. There we go. Segue.
It's a forced segue, but a segue is the same.
Rick Bruner. Anybody who's familiar with ad research should know that. Famously of Research Wonks listserv, which I know many of us are on. Outlined the 5 forces that could roil the ad industry in 2025. Economic pressures, AI. It's a great article. Rick is super smart. And I mean, he lives, breathes, and everything else, this idea, this concept, definitely somebody to follow on LinkedIn. I think Rick is also, he's on the board of IMB, I believe. But anyway, so definitely worth checking out, and because that's been the theme through this conversation today is around advertising and things that are impacting advertising, and he takes it to the next level. So
yeah. I mean, January sure is the month for these types of articles. So, or these types of reflections, what say you? I think I don't have the link to it, but I know Ray Pointer did one recently also, I think just this past week, where, he's reflecting on what's ahead, lots of predictions being made. So I think it's probably a good intellectual practice to just, just like reflect on this stuff and put stuff out there, because as you have done before, as I have done before, it's kind of neat to look back and then say, oh yeah, I was right about that one.
Yeah. Well, there's something, you know what? We'll do that. Because I would also argue, just tune into the exchange every week and we're going to make sure.
Yeah, you don't have to do
all that. But we should, especially when I get soapboxy, at the we this year, we should commit to that periodically, maybe at the end of the year, we will use AI to analyze the transcript of all of the exchange, and we'll identify those things that we got excited about. And let's benchmark it and see how far things go. And how full of crap I was. You're never full of crap. It would just be me. So
stop. No, you're right though.
All right. On that note, speaking of being full of crap, Karen.
Oh my goodness. No, I love you.
Yes.
All right. So yeah. Okay. Well, look at us, close to half an hour today. That's good. That's what happens when you're on a tight schedule, right? So
yeah,
we don't go off too many tangents. So that's all for today.
Yeah, and thanks for all the engagement, guys. Charlie and Jim, and were there other folks?
Charlie and Jim for the win.
I feel like I'm like on Romper Room. I see Charlie, I see Jim. I'm aging myself with that reference. Anyway, thanks, guys. And we'll talk next week.
So very much. Yes. Bye, Lenny. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the snow in Kentucky.
Thanks. You too. Well, not in Kentucky, but in if you get any. All right. Anyway, bye, y'all. Have a good weekend. Bye.